Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs and today I have a Thanksgiving card to share with you. So let's jump right in. So I'm going to create a 5x7 base. I am using my Rotary trimmer for this just because I find it easier than my smaller trimmer. And I cut that big piece of cardstock to be my base down to 10 by 7 inches, and I will score it at the 5-inch mark so that it is a 5x7 card. I am going to black matte my design. You guys know if you've been with me for a minute that I love to do that, so that's kind of normal. And then I realized that I had never used this Woodgrain cardstock. This came out for Christmas last year with Tim Holtz's release. It's like a two-tone gray cardstock and it's got this wood design on it. I don't think you can get this anymore. If you can, I will have it linked and listed down below for you. But you could use an embossing folder to create this same look. I just happened to have this cardstock on hand and really wanted to use it, so I did. Now this is a bit of a longer video, so if you have the time and you enjoy my content, please watch the whole video. It just lets YouTube know that you do enjoy longer content from me. That's kind of the biggest thing, is that when people click on the video, watch it for like a minute and then click off, YouTube kind of sees that as you're not enjoying my content, so it's not gonna, show it. So if you have a second and you can watch the video, I would greatly appreciate it because my longer content doesn't seem to do as well on YouTube. So I would just really appreciate it if you have a few minutes to spend with me. So to create the leaves, I cut down some distressed cardstock. These were scraps that I had, the watercolor cardstock, and I'm going to use several sprays for this. I really wanted to use the sprays because I find them to be very vibrant and I wanted that mica background. So I'm going to use distressed sprays, not the oxides, the regular sprays, and some mica colors for this. So for the colors, for yellow, I used Fossilized Amber distressed spray and Flickering Candle Mica. For orange, I did ripe Persimmon distress spray and jack-o'-lantern for the mica. For the red, I actually did 2 micas in this one because I wanted a touch of pink in my design of the red leaves. So I have Lumberjack Plaid as my distress ink, Tart Cranberry mica, and just a touch of Cocktail Party mica. For the green, which is what I'm doing right here, I have Rustic Wilderness as my distress color and then Merry Mint as my mica. And anywhere that I felt like my inks weren't really moving well, I would bring back in my distress sprayer and just add a little more water. I did also start off each color by spraying a little bit of water to get some movement in them. And then for purple, I used Villainish Potion as my distress just ink. I want to say oxide because I use it so much more. It wasn't, it was the sprays. And then I used Fortune Teller mica spray. Now I chose to use the distress inks instead of the oxides because the oxides, when they oxidize, give you more of a chalky finish, so it's not quite as vibrant of color because it is a dye pigment mix, right? And the distress inks are just a dye, so you'll always get a more vibrant color from them. So that's why I went with those. And then the mica does have a little bit of oxide in it as well, so you do get a little bit of that oxidization, so it adds more texture and interest to the background. So that's kind of what I was thinking with that. And I did try to get one of each leaf cut from these little swatches of color. I don't succeed on the yellow and the purple. I only end up being able to cut 4 of them. You're going to see that here in a minute. But I did really try to cut out 5 of the leaves that I've picked out. So these leaves are from the Tim Holtz Artsy Leaves dies, and there's several dies in there. I think there's like 8 or 9 leaves, and then there's also 8 or 9 stem pieces to go with the leaves, and you can mix and match however you want to use them, completely up to you. But at this point, I only cut out 5 leaves because these are the 5 that I chose to use in this design. And I'm going to cut those exact same 5 out of each color, except yellow and purple, but I'll fix that down the road. So I chose to make this a Thanksgiving card because if you are not familiar with my channel, or you're newer, or you just don't know, I'm actually Canadian. So Thanksgiving for me was October 9th, which was Monday. But because I do a 12 Weeks of Christmas series, which had to start on Monday, I wasn't able to do a thank you card. So I told you guys in that video, if you've watched it, that I was going to do a thanks card for the Thursday video, which is what I'm doing here. So that is what I wanted to do. And I really wanted to focus on fall colors and just leaves. And you guys know that I love vibrant. So of course I am drawn to those colors. You could do this in a more muted palette if that was your aesthetic, but I love vibrant colors. So I am drawn to them as a general rule. So I do tend to go to the more vibrant side of the colors. But you could absolutely do this in so many ways. This card would lend itself to any color palette. You could do monochromatic if you wanted to. It's just that I have a tendency towards super vibrant colors. So I picked 5 leaves and 5 colors. That's because I like to work in uneven numbers. I do find that it's a lot more interesting to the eye to work that way. So that is why I do that. But yeah, I mean, do what makes you happy. At the end of the day, I feel like card making, crafting in general, should just be you having fun, you know. I try really hard to just do what I enjoy and hope that you guys enjoy seeing them. And some things do better than others, but that's okay. I think that there's a really different market for everybody's talent and skills. And I think that everybody, like Tim Holtz says, he says everybody has something to share. And I completely believe that. You have your own unique voice and you bring that to the crafting industry. And that's wonderful because the industry wouldn't exist if people didn't share what they were creating. So if you haven't shared anything and you want to, you're more than welcome to share it with me. I have a Facebook group. You can come and hang out in there and share with me, or, you know, you can tag me on Instagram or whatever if you want me to see something. I'm more than happy to see it. I would love to see it. So if you ever want to share something and you want me to see it, just tag me and I will happily come check it out and tell you my thoughts. But I do feel like everybody can create. I get that a lot. A lot of my ladies at work know that I have this channel and whatnot. And, they you know, it's funny because a lot of people be like, oh, like I couldn't make that. And I'm like, well, but you could though, you know, it's anybody can do anything if you're willing to work for it, or if you make it a priority, or, you know, you're willing to put in that time. I do believe that. So hopefully I inspire you guys to sit down and create different things and stuff that maybe you're intimidated by, or, you know, you're just challenged by. I hope that you find me and my channel inspirational, because that is kind of what I'm going for. But or you can just come and hang out. You can just come and chat with me. So yeah, completely up to you as to what you get from this channel, but hopefully you enjoy the content that I create. I did choose to cut the center pieces out. So I picked out 5 center pieces. These go with those leaves. And I cut them out of a glitter black cardstock just because I thought that would really match the matte. And I like glitter cardstock. I love things that are shimmery and shiny. So I did cut those out. And I'm not going to show you it. I'm going to show you just this one time. But I did cut them out 5 times to create enough leaves or insides for each leaf that I had cut out. I did also off camera cut another purple leaf and a yellow leaf, and then managed to cut the wrong leaves. So then I cut another purple leaf and a yellow leaf. So I actually have 2 extra purple leaves and 2 extra yellow leaves. Well, 1 extra more than what I have. So I should say it like that. I have 5, and then I've cut 1 extra of purple and yellow. So I will put those on the inside of the card so that there's just a little bit of a fun detail on the inside. And then I did go and poke out all the insides of these little bits that go inside of the leaves. Some have pieces you can poke out. Some are just like pieces that are one piece. You don't have to cut anything out. It just depends on which ones you've chosen. I chose ones that had little details because I like extra details. I think that they're a lot more fun. But you could choose the ones that don't need to be popped out. That's super easy. And you did see me bring in my chrome plate for this just because it's a little bit easier to get detailed die cutting, especially with glitter cardstock. Sometimes I struggle to get glitter cardstock to cut. This glitter cardstock's actually by Simon Says Stampin'. It seems to cut fairly well. But as a preemptive measure now, I kind of just automatically use my chrome plate for detail cutting just so that I know that it will cut and I don't have to fight with it. But completely up to you as to how you want to do. This is just kind of what I've found works, especially in my machine, because each machine is different. So it really depends on what works for your machine. But yeah, so I had a lot of fun with this card. This video is a bit longer just because honestly, this card took me a long time to make. So I try not to cut out tons of footage just because if you are newer to making, I don't want you to be confused as to whatever the next step was. So I kind of try to keep pieces in that would be useful to a person who's kind of newer. Now, granted, people who've been crafting for a while don't need probably as much detail as I'm going to give you, but I don't want anybody to be confused as I go along with the steps. And so I try to kind of leave steps in that make sense. So if you were new, they would make sense. I did bring in a nested circle die, and you can see me just draw around it there with my pencil. That was so that I had a general idea of the shape of I was kind of going for a wreath look. Honestly, though, this it makes me think of a peacock or a turkey. Like just how this kind of lines up in the end. I mean, I was just trying to give some space to that beautiful Woodgrain cardstock so you could kind of see it and have the thanks really hold its own against this very vibrant back, like these leaves. But I kind of maybe shouldn't have left quite as much. I don't know. You guys tell me. Tell me what you think of this space, if I left too much of it, or what you think of this kind of dome look to my leaves. So I kind of worked out what order I wanted the first layer to look like, what order I wanted the colors to be in. And I'm sorry you saw my arm go up there. I watch YouTube while I create. Usually it's like a live that Tim Holtz is doing, or Christina Warner watercoloring or whatever. That's usually what I'm watching while I create, because it's just super inspiring and it's fun to catch up on what other creatives are doing and just seeing what's new in the industry or what's happening or what other people are making. I really enjoy doing that. So I do tend to watch YouTube while I'm crafting. So if you see my arm go up, that's what I'm doing. I'm just changing the video because it ended while I'm doing something. I usually cut that out, but I didn't realize I did it there. So I did not cut it out, and I'm not cutting it out now. You're too late. I'm voiceovering. That's the last stage of the process here. So I did choose to use a foam square on this first layer. That's because I knew I was going to tuck the extra leaves behind these leaves and kind of fill out more of the leaves in the background. So that I needed them to be able to be lifted and shifted so that I could tuck those extra leaves in. That's why I intentionally did like one foam square. I add glue later so that they're more stable. You'll see me drop a bunch off when we go to actually adhere the base, which is a little bit irritating, and I should have thought of that, but I fix it. It's not a big deal. So here's where you see me. I've gone and tucked all those extra leaves into the design just behind that first layer, anywhere that I thought that it looked good, anywhere that I thought that it needed to be filled out a little more, or there was some color missing or anything like that. Like I took the extra leaves that I had, still the same amount. There's still 5 of each leaf in each color. Those 2 extra leaves will go on the inside of the card. But anywhere that I thought that it just needed a little more something, except that bottom, I guess it's going to be the left corner, except that I do kind of wish I had filled that in a little bit more, just because I ended up with those 2 little leaves there, but I didn't, and I don't regret it. This card's stunning. It's sadly, once again, the pictures don't do it justice. And I did use an acrylic block just to hold those leaves down so that they would adhere to that wood grain cardstock, because there's a fair amount of texture there. It was a little bit of a struggle to get them to adhere nicely, but they did in the end, except those 2 leaves that you're going to see me drop in a minute. I wonder if I just didn't put any glue on those ones, to be honest, and they were just like kind of sitting there. And then for my sentiment, I actually used, this is a set from Honeybee. I've had this for a long time. I don't know if you can buy it or not still. If you can, I'll have it linked and listed down below. If you can't, I'll find something similar. But this is a die and stamp set I've had from Honeybee for years. And it's kind of my go-to for thanks, because it has 3 layers for the thanks. You see me only using 2 here, just the word in the first layer, but it has another layer that's bigger than the white piece. And then it has a whole bunch of really fun sub-sentiments that you're going to see me use as well. So I think it's a great versatile thank you set, but I honestly don't know if you can still get it. You probably can, actually. Honeybee is pretty good about not getting rid of their stuff quickly, so it's likely you can still get this die set if you're interested, but if not, I will find something similar in case you're interested at all. And yeah, so I'm going to use that. I just adhered that flat. That's going to have no dimension to it, because I don't want the sentiment to steal the show. I want what you see to be the leaves. Like, that's kind of the point there, and then the sentiment's just extra. So I went very monochromatic with my sentiment. I did white on black, or I guess white on black for the sub sentiment, because I'm going to white heat emboss it, and then black on white for the thanks word, just because I thought that would not steal the show but still really work well with the design, because I do have the white base and the black matte of that same black cardstock. So it's kind of what I was thinking with my color scheme there. And then I am going to white heat set this. Sorry, that didn't go into focus at all. I was standing when I did it, so I didn't even notice. But yeah, so I'm going to trim that down into a little label so that I can easily adhere it underneath the thanks word. And then that's kind of the whole card design, other than I'm going to bring in some pearls because you guys know I love pearls. They are probably one of my favorite embellishments. If I had owned some black pearls, I would have added them. Sadly, I don't, so I went with white because, again, I'm trying to be really monochromatic here and keep the sentiment subtle while those leaves are very eye-catching. So that's kind of what I was thinking with that. And I chose not to trim the leaves, so that makes this a card that I would have to hand deliver or put inside of a gift because the leaves will try to bend if you open the card on them, right? So I mean, I chose not to cut them off. You absolutely can. I could also create an envelope that would fit them. I make my own envelopes all the time, so that's not a big deal. But I chose to just leave it as this and probably just put it in a gift or something so that I didn't have to worry about the leaves kind of being smushed. But yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So that is my Thanksgiving card. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you're still hanging out with me and listening to this video. And I want to say a very big thank you to you guys. I wouldn't have a channel if nobody wanted to hang out with me, if nobody wanted to watch the content that I create, if you didn't, want to hang out with me multiple times a week. So this channel exists because you guys come and support me. And I just want to say a very, very big thank you to all of you who support me, who come by, who like my videos, who leave me comments and chat with me and, reach out and tell me what's going on for you or send stuff to my PO box. Whatever you're able to do, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I can't even express how thankful I am for you. So this card is for all of you. I hope that you guys like this card. I think that it turned out really pretty. I had a lot of fun making it, even though it was quite a work of love because it was quite a in-depth leaf experience, but I think it turned out really pretty and I had a lot of fun making it, so it worked out pretty well. And then that's where those two leaves fell off of the design. I honestly don't think that I adhered them well, so I think they fell off just because I didn't put glue on them, because I didn't, stick each leaf in. I had already placed them where I wanted them, so I kind of just put a little glue underneath, and I easily could have skipped them. Or alternatively, like the wood grain, as I said, it was a little bit interesting to get the stuff to adhere to that wood grain. So one way or another, I kind of just had a little bit of a fun time getting it to adhere. But it did in the end, and it's super fun card. So I really enjoyed making it. But that is the card I have for you. I'm going to hold it up now so you can kind of enjoy all of the shimmer and sparkle this card has to offer. Like the video doesn't even quite capture it. Like that black glitter cardstock is stunning. The mica sprays, it's a stunning, fun card. And I hope you guys really enjoyed hanging out with me and watching it for this longer video. Thank you so much. I hope you liked it. I hope you leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. And as you know, we are in the 12 weeks of Christmas. So every Monday will be a Christmas card up until Christmas. So thank you so much, guys. And I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.